How about this? After a very active 2025 year for weather, tax day is here. Millions of Americans were impacted by disasters this year, including major hurricanes, wildfires, and tornado outbreaks. Many Americans were affected by these disasters, and there are a few ways you can maybe write them off and get a tax break. I mean, this is interesting, right? Perk up your ears a little bit. Let's bring in Chief Investment Officer at Kingsview Partners, Scott Martin. Always good to talk to you. Congratulations, Rory. You're looking good with your new Masters jacket. Look at you, my friend.
I should write this off, BVD. That should be the expense here. Maybe I can write off the ridiculous expense it takes to mimic the Masters jacket there and not play like Rory, but look like him.
I mean, you might as well, right? I mean, it was fantastic. But I'm glad you could join us today.
Yes.
We were talking, I was like, listen, it's tax day. Who better would I want to talk to than my buddy Scott right there in Chicago? We appreciate you being here because weather-wise, man, it's been rough. A fiscal year just with many hurricanes, the fires earlier this year in January in California, and the tornadoes. Can people get any help with a tax man?
They can, BVD. And here's the thing that's nice about the IRS. I will say this in public. The nice thing that they're doing is for folks in California, for folks in, say, the Florida, the Georgia area, Tennessee, some counties as well, they're giving you pretty much access to an extension. In fact, California, Bob, does not have to file until the fall, so they get the automatic extension. Some other states are going to give you pretty much a guaranteed extension if you file it. So what you have the ability to do is take some time to look at, say, the insurance claims you made, take a look at the damages you've claimed, look at some more of the damages you may still find out to be damages in 2024, and make sure that you have the ability to at least go to the IRS or go to the tax returns. Go to an accountant, by the way. I really insist on folks talking to some accountant or some local professional to figure out what's able to be deducted, what you've paid for already, what you've been compensated for by the insurance company, and use those losses, like you said, Bob, to be able to claim those as ways to take off which basically your adjusted gross income level.
Yeah, it's such a fine line, too. Does it matter if it's a federally declared disaster area or what if it was just one storm that took a tree down?
It does. Well, it makes it a lot easier. Let's put it that way, because if it's a declared disaster area, you obviously have a little bit more of that attention that's given to that area, and that's where you can get the easier filing extension. They're probably going to get a better treatment of those areas. But of course, like anything, when you have a business that's in some area that has been hit by, say, a severe storm, maybe some hail damage and things like that, there are claims you can make. It's just a little bit more difficult to do that, and harder, much more so, Bob, on your own. I mean, you talked about talking to me as like your friend on tax day, which I guess I appreciate, but I'm also a guy that sends in his taxes every year, and I'm like biting my nails to make sure that everything looks good. I use a professional as well, but my goodness, the 1040s and everything these days are so darn complicated. You know, you never know what you're doing right or wrong.
Dude, it's pucker time for me. I've got a house in Georgia. I come up through New Jersey. I work in New York. We've got a place in Florida.
What a life.
It's like, well, yeah, it's like it's spread out, and 2 kids that are going to be in college, and it's like, my goodness, what can you write off? So for us, we had some hail damage on our roof, and we're going back about 10 years ago. I mean, a new roof, as you know, is expensive as heck.
Crazy.
Right? It's like $25,000. What if you only get $20,000 from your insurance company? Can you write the other $5,000 off, even though it wasn't a storm?
Yeah, so you kind of, in most cases, there's some things you can do with some exemptions and some deductions that might help you with that. But then the IRS could come back and say, well, you didn't do it in the right time or you didn't file it the right way. And so that's why, again, I think you need to talk to a professional. You don't have to have the professional file the taxes for you, but definitely get the extension if you can, because a lot of Americans file extensions. That's increasing every year because of the fact that taxes are getting more complicated. But then look at some of the regulations in the state, and certainly some of the regulations that may apply to some of that damage. Because here's the nice thing, Bob, that I think the government's done as a thing, and that's 2 good things about the IRS, is that they've made the exemptions and some of the allocations easier for taxpayers with regards to what they want to claim as a loss or damage. Or there's a lot more time that you can get, as I said, into the extension period, where if you file an extension, that's okay. And if you take your time to figure out the dollars and cents, as long as you get it right, you're going to be okay. And also the IRS under Trump is shrinking, as we know. There's some jobs at risk there, just a couple 10,000. So there's probably not that risk of being audited as much as there was back when you were doing that, let's say not tax evasion, but say that tax creation or the tax sensitivity you had during when you did the roof thing, I guess that was.
No,
and you're out of the statute of limitations on that too. So
no, listen, we had to bite the bullet. We paid it off, and we did it all. But man, oh man, no, there's no evasion going on here, my friend. What are you talking about? You're gonna get me nailed. But you're right. You don't gamble with this stuff at all. So I'm glad you could join us for sure, because it does matter if it was a federally declared disaster area or not. That really makes a a big difference.
And take your time and be deliberate about it.
Yeah.
They'll understand, I'm sure, because there's more disasters nowadays, as we know, than any year in past history. So I think they understand that there's a lot of things going on that people are going to need to deduct to keep going.
Yeah, no question. Scott, man, thanks for hopping on the ball and coming on the air with us. I know you got the short call, but you came in, you made it on time.
Hey, man, I'll see you on the course, man. We'll be back out there.
You strapped it on. Maybe not Augusta National, but something similar, you know, like there's just a couple of dog tracks in Jersey.
We'll write that off. Maybe Pinehurst. We'll write it off, too, by the way.
Pinehurst, number 2. Let's do it,
Yes,
buddy.
sir.
All right, pal. Good to talk to you, man. I appreciate it. Chief Investment Officer at Kingsview Partners. That's Scott Martin. All right.